Hey guys, Mark here with Myrtle Beach Generators. So I wanted to do an unboxing for the Champion 22 kW whole home generators. I found that this is by far one of the most affordable 22K generators on the market. So I kind of want to unbox this, show you around the unit, look at the quality on how it's built, how it's made, and some of the features that are kind of geared more towards the installer side of this rather than presentation. A couple things that I feel like everybody should know is the pallet that this comes on is awkward. So the two center parts there are too wide for your standard pallet jack, so it can't go in this way, and then the side entrance for the pallet, it's too narrow, so your pallet jack can't go in that way. So unless you have a forklift where you have adjustable forks, it makes moving this around a little bit difficult. Something I'm sure they could work on in the future. But this is a nearly 700-pound generator, whereas some of your nearby competitors are around that 500-pound mark. So it kind of gives you a little inclination that there is a lot of extra built into this. So let's get started. First impressions, this is already great. You don't see this on some of the other units. It's like they're actually protecting their I can say this, the packaging on this seems like they care a little bit more about the shipping aspect of it. They even put foam covers over the bolts, just in case. But it's secured to the pallet, it's bolted there, there, and there. And then it even has this lip here, so in case for whatever reason it'll prevent sliding, which is really nice. So this is significantly bigger than some of the competitors. When I say bigger, it's wider, it's a little bit deeper, and definitely more heavy. So, oh, that's nice. That is so smooth. Like, look at that. Wow. So these hinges, they are significantly nicer than some of the others. Some pretty thick insulation up there. One thing I really do like about Champion generators is their panel design. Super easy, and it has nice, sturdy, robust latches. Not like some of the competitors where it's just a couple pins and it hooks onto it and those pins bend and break off. That's pretty solid, so I like that. The other thing about this, here's the side panel. No tools, side panel off. No tools required. Here's the intake side. No tools required. How awesome is that? But wait, there's more. Here's the back panel. Back panel, completely loft. Look at how thick this insulation is. And how thick it is there, and how thick it is back there. I mean, that is almost 2 inches of noise dampening insulation. That's pretty great. So with no tools, I have access to the top, the front, the back, the side, and even the exhaust side of this. So I'm gonna grab the camera and walk you around it so you can kind of see. So here is the front. This engine looks
significantly beefier than what you would imagine. So this is a 999cc overhead valve engine. Even the spark plug wires have a heat shield on there. That's just a really good looking unit. Everything is nice connectors. It retains everything well. It's not just flopped around with a zip tie. Like, look at the oil drain holder. That's nice. Some of the competitors in this market have just a zip tie that's just poked through a hole. You got your rubber isolator. 1, 2 on the back. Well, I don't know. Let's see if there actually is on the back. And the cool thing about this is we can get to the back of it. You can get to all your major bolts here without having to struggle. You can get to a starter, and if you've done any research, you know starters were a problem for some companies for a few years. So it's kind of nice that you can get to that. I love that they have all of their wiring connections here for their grounding on one block, which is grounded right to the starter. That's a huge deal. So not only do they have the great case grounded, the engine grounded through your connections, you have your grounding block right here directly to the starter. I mean, it's going to get its maximum power, which Champion is a 24 volt system. So you get a whole lot of power in any weather conditions, really. Your exhaust box, that's to keep the heat from the rest of the unit. You have a whole enclosure for your exhaust, for your muffler, heat shielded and insulated. This is going to help you when you're on the job doing service work, and some of those heat shields on other brands get really hot if you're trying to run diagnostics and you touch it and it gets super hot. That's really a nice feature. This over here, look how open this is. Look how much space is in here to make all of your customer connections. That's crazy. I can't tell you how many generators I've worked on where you've got, just like this much space to try to make, 4 or 5 wires fit properly and cleanly. It comes with all your loose parts. Comes with your flexible gas whip and your battery cable for your 24 volt system. A lot of people don't use the flexible gas whip. It is super important. Make sure if you're getting your generator installed that they use their flexible gas whip. You got a lot of space here for batteries because two batteries go in here, which, if you don't know why, we run them in series. So we take two 12 volt batteries and it turned it into a 24 volt battery. The purpose for that is you get better starting power in super cold conditions or super hot conditions. You just get more consistent power from 2 batteries. So all of those connections are super easy to get to. Anything you need to test is right here. All of your connections that you need to get to underneath the controller are right here. So your mainline breakers, all of that you can access through this panel. There's just some push tabs right here and on the other side as well. When you look at the back side of this generator, they've already got your knockouts made. They have louvers here for ventilation. They have your emergency start stop switch and an indicator light as well. So I love this. I think this is amazing. Like, you couldn't ask for more space. With this down, so here's an e-stop. So your generator isn't going to do anything if this is depressed. So you got to lift up on that and press that in. Now your generator will work. That will turn it off. Your warning LED. This whole panel comes off of there. This entire panel comes off, and that is your gas inlet. It's important to make sure that this gets taken out before they go put a fitting in there, because what you don't want to happen is to run a fitting in there and then it pushes in that plastic piece, and then you're wondering why your generator won't work, which all of that is right here. That is a great setup. Again, the back side of the generator, so you can see everything you need to see, work on everything you need to work on, get to any bolt that you need to get to. I like their wire loom a lot better than some of the other brands. This is significantly sturdier. Everything about this generator is sturdier. All of your information is right here on the top. You got your auxiliary shut-off switch here as well. You've got a mainline breaker right there. And this controller looks really familiar to some other brands, some big name brands. It's very rare that a generator company makes controllers, so they usually source them from controller manufacturers. So I can tell you that this has been sourced and is also used in some other more expensive brands. Let's pop off this air filter. Oh, look at that. That's hard to do with one hand. There we go. Overall, I just feel like this is a much more robust unit than some of their competitors. Which I think if Champion were to get on that same level and really focus on making this a little bit more tech savvy when it came to how a customer interacts with it, I think this would ultimately be one of the best generators on the market. Their quality is really nice. Like, even down to their panel bolts, they put inspection marks on them to make sure that they were tight. They use a much bigger Allen key compared to the competitors, which is super small and it's a really cheap metal, and they always strip out. Like, it would be hard to strip that. 10mm bolts. I'm impressed. I'm just wildly impressed with the build quality of this. Oh, look at that. They have a little pin that you can lock the lid so it doesn't close on your head. That's nice. So overall, my professional opinion, I've been working on generators now since 2019 is when I got into the generator game. And I've never had to repair one of these. So all that tells me is whoever is designing and building these is really taking the mechanical approach to it, having everything accessible, higher quality materials. Because again, this is 200 pounds compared to the most popular 22 kW, 200 pounds heavier, which just means there is more of metal. There's more metal on it, which if you have a more robust engine, you have an engine that's going to last longer. If you have a more robust cabinet, you're going to have a cabinet that lasts longer. And this is an aluminum cabinet, which is fun because this is Champion's first aluminum generator. One of the reasons why they're not as widely known or as big as some of the competitors is because for a while they were using steel enclosures, which you can see that in that body style there. That's a hard sell for people that live on the coast, especially in the southern region. region where rust can actually play a factor in the longevity of your generator. But if you don't know about Champion, they've been around since 2003. They've been doing generators. They're much bigger in the portable market than they are in their whole home standby. They are built in Wisconsin as well, like a couple other brands. So they obviously, just like any generator company currently on the market, they source parts obviously from all over the place. So they actually have their design, their engine design, alternator design is in Wisconsin. Obviously they import some controllers from other countries, much like some other brands. So they are assembled. They have a couple assembly plants. I know there's one out in Las Vegas. I know there's one in Wisconsin. I think there's one in Florida. So there are quite a few places where they assemble these. But they are assembled here and designed here in the U.S. And I love them. I can't say that I love it more than I love any other one. But I will say that I have not been disappointed with this brand of generator. I will say, if they really wanted to make an impact in the generator market, that they need to have some sort of app or connectivity user base for your homeowner to view this generator from wherever they are in the world, like some other brands do. Which, if they got on that level, this would be something to watch out for. I do want to tell you that the communication wires, from an installer aspect, you only need your two hots, your neutral, your ground, and then you need two 14 or 16 gauge wires to run the battery charger. That's it. You don't need, your voltage sensing. You don't need transfer relays. You don't need any of that. So this connects to the actual transfer switch via Bluetooth. So when you go to set this up, you just link the serial numbers together. The ATS takes care of, senses the utility loss, sends the generator a start signal. The generator then starts, runs, and once it gets up to voltage, it sends a transfer signal back to the ATS, and the ATS will then transfer at that point, which I think is awesome. They've eliminated a lot of need for extra wiring. However, they're just that one small step behind one of the major competitors. And I really think that at a price point of this, if you're not tech savvy, this is a wonderful option. So that's my opinion. If you have questions about it, feel free to give us a call, 843-457-8187. You can also email us at info@mb-gen.com. That will come right to our email, and I can answer any questions you have about that. Or if you'd like a quote on it, we could certainly do that for you as well. Thanks, guys.